Hello again, thank you for joining me for another video. So, some interesting stuff has come up lately. I'm not sure why the pressure to keep on turning the camera on and talking. Definitely different than it's been for the last 6 months or so. Someone in my comments asked about loneliness in the context of, the spiritual awakening and soul journeys. And it really sparked a pretty deep contemplation in me. And that was, it juxtaposed experiences with two different people in the last couple of days, which after I left them, had very nice conversations. It felt warm, inviting, comfortable. And then I left and had a little mini breakdown. I'm not sure if this is because I've spent so much time alone. Feeling out of place in the world, feeling there was not a place in the world that I could be authentic, that the experience of being with other people in a friendly way as opposed to a guarded way was jarring to my spirit. And so that's kind of the context that I'm contemplating the idea of loneliness inside of this experience of being with friendly people who were nice to me, and not just that they were being nice to me, but that there was some reflection of things I've asked for, prayers I've said. So then it's not just them being nice to me, it's God being nice to me, right? And them being a bit of a channel that way. And the sense of feeling unworthy of this, the sense of condemnation, self-directed condemnation, as if I am manipulating them into being nice to me, and that if they know the truth of who I really was, they wouldn't be nice to me. And this pervasive sense of deserved punishment, I really believe it's like that covering, that last covering that you have to confront one way or another in order to experience the equilibrium necessary to be walking in God's grace without hiding your face. So my loneliness comes from, and my isolation has come from, the discord of feeling as though I have a pure soul and a dirty life. So I look at my life and am ashamed of it. And like, to the point of not feeling like I deserve to be here or talk to people or get good things. Now, most of the things I'm ashamed of weren't even my fault if I had to go to court. I mean, I never, you run these court trials in your mind. Maybe you don't, but I do. And try to find that karmic solution that resolves your own, like, I don't want to ever make that mistake again. I hurt somebody. I don't want to ever hurt someone in that way again. And you'll try to find the solution within, find the part of you that's wounded, that reacted, the part of you that's immature, and develop it, the part of you that's ignorant and train it. All of these things, right? And the primary reason for doing it all is having been hurt, right? So you try to perfect your outward facing self. You try to change the dirty life into a clean life where people can't hurt you over what they see or leverage your mistakes against you. Because I continue to go to God, clear the fields, become this new person, willingly turn over my life, my will, what do I need to turn over? I don't hold back. He keeps giving it back to me. Here, this is your will, you better do something with it. Okay, I'm gonna try. Oh, I fucked up again. Fix it. I'm afraid again. Help. But you can't change how people perceive you. And they are perceiving you based on your dirty life. I think the thing that has kept me lonely and isolating and angry and desperate and depressed and anxious and all of the things is feeling unable to produce, or feeling it's pointless to produce something. What is the point of producing something if everybody's going to judge any mistakes I've made, and they don't want stuff that comes from a dirty life? You have a dirty life, so try again next time. And this is a pervasive thing in society. We're seeing it play out right now. This aggressive, find the sin in a person and then make everybody not talk to them. It's like bullying 101. We do it to each other. We do it to ourselves. It's the canceling of potential pure soul, dirty life. Overcoming that and then looking or demanding proof of the pure soul. So you might have had a dirty life and then turned your life over to God. God starts this transformation process, and then everybody demands proof. And most of the time, they leverage hiding their own sin, leverage still. Okay, do these 5 things and then we'll believe that you actually have a pure soul and you've turned over a new leaf. Redemption is nearly impossible. You can only trust God. Like, you cannot ever find yourself in a position of blameless in other people's eyes. You can find yourself in a position of pure soul as far as God is concerned, and with some work as far as you are concerned, and maybe you'll be blessed with beautiful friends and family that will believe you, support you, and desire the abundance that can come from someone who's reconciled. The fact that, there's the soul's there and the soul's pure. And allow it, once the recognition is gained, to be what produces. It's that strange condition of karma where we haven't socially caught up to what is spiritually possible. And so what is spiritually possible is getting it's the tool that's used to, whack you back into your place. And it isn't done by just certain people. It's something that we are all doing to each other fairly steadily. When the spiritual movement started, forming and fomenting, on social media 10 years ago, and especially maybe 7 years ago, where there is a big, like, one love, we're all connected, love is the answer, right? But the act of love includes the act of permitting, witnessing the pure soul in people. And we have been wrestling with how to love a dirty life, and conditioning and adding more conditions. Okay, now you're awake. Now this is what we expect to see from you. So we build cages and cages and cages and cages. And I don't know how to deal with it. I have not been able to figure out how to resolve this in my mind, and I do not want advice. Please don't give me advice. Feel free to pray for me. But you can't see enough of my life. I would never show you enough of my life for your advice to actually be accurate. That's just how I am. So my loneliness comes from having a life that is dual. I have a duality life because I had to and have to. And let's see if I can explain what I mean by that. When I say pure soul, I mean that I can recognize the essence that exists and the reflections that reality provides to the soul story, to the weird special nature of the grace and reminders of grace that God has given me. My name is a reminder of God's grace, and I have a bunch of these neon signs, near-death experiences, saved from so many things, nudges to go places and be the miracle messenger type person, having people come up to me and do these amazing things. When we were living in the van, my son was turning, God, I want to say 11, 10, was he younger? 9, 10, 11, one of those years. I can't remember exactly without pausing long enough to think about it. And we were living in a van on the West Coast, and so I didn't have any money. I was homeless. We lived in a van. I didn't have any place to go. And it was his birthday. And we found a place to park for the night. It was actually a beachfront campground that was empty because it was October and very, cold and rainy. Washington is cold and rainy in October. Fall was setting in. And we pulled in pretty late. There was nobody there. It wasn't like a regular campground. It was kind of like a parking lot, but you could also pay to spend the night. So the plan was get in and get out. And, or pay the next day. But leaving money in that neck of the woods anywhere was not, the chances of it being there the next day were low. So we didn't. I mean, yeah. It's crazy to have to pay money to park in an empty parking lot. Anyways. we don't give a lot of grace periods for people to recover their lives. And yeah, I'm hearing all the judgments in my mind and condemning myself, and why can't you just be that perfect person that, always has enough money for the things you're supposed to pay for? There's such morality and morality judgments and all of this stuff on being poor. And you'd really, if you want to be the most pure poor person, you either stop being poor or kill yourself. That is just the messaging that has been there, and you have to override it with faith. I don't know how to do it any other way. Went off on a little bit of tangent. I'm not going to restart the video. I'm just going to keep talking. This is why I spend all my time alone, because I get pulled into ethics tunnels. So my son gets up. God, he must have been 9. He must have been 9, turning 10. He gets up, 8, turning 9. Fuck, whatever. I don't know. Sorry. He gets up to use the bathroom, and I hear him talking to someone, and I am just like, no. Because if you want to tell me to leave, if you want to tell me to pay, then you come get the adult. You don't tell the kid, you can't be here. You're not allowed to park here. The psychological shit we had already been through of constantly having to be moved along. When you're in the van, it's like, it was always just move along, move along. Oh, they're vicious there. They were vicious there. It was not some pleasant hippie life. You need a lot of money to be a hippie in a van, let me tell you. You better have that thing tricked out, and you better be able to pay $35 a night for a campground, or expect to be harassed pretty well nonstop. Especially if one of your traveling companions has dreadlocks. Oh boy. So I hear somebody talking to him. I'm getting myself shoes on and ready to go out there, and she happens to come over with him, and I talk to her, and I was enraged. And holding it back, because it's like that mama bear of like, who is talking to my son? He was out there for like, a minute and a half. And long story short, I was able to explain to her without the defenses, because basically I felt a little defeated at that moment. It was like, she's not wrong. I had not filled out the form and paid the money. I was trying to just be there for 6 hours and take off and get back to the, rest stop or some other place that I was allowed to park. And it was his birthday coming up in a couple of days. So she hugged me as I cried. And ended up coming back later. She said, "Stay here. Don't leave. I'm gonna go talk to my husband." She left because she was the campground cleaner. Well, it turns out she was living in an RV. She lost her house. Her husband and her were living in an RV. And so she paid for us to stay there at the campground for 3 days. And not only did she pay for us to stay 3 days at the campground, but when she found out that his birthday was coming up, she actually came with taco soup and chips and, like all the fixings. And she bought him an outfit and a couple toys and a pair of shoes. And so we called it Nancy Camp. We called it Nancy Chips in honor of Nancy, who I thought was kicking me out but instead, like, turned it into this beautiful blessing that, celebrated my son's birthday with us and turned it into this really special memory when it could have just been nasty. Why did I bring that story up in the context of what I'm talking about? No idea. I think the damage of our life and the quick judgments that people make about why a person's in the position they're in, and we assume that a dirty life means dirty soul. And generally speaking, those with the dirty souls aren't. For most people are never going to meet those people. We're all a work in progress, realistically. So much damage happened to my faith in people. Like, I have these beautiful stories of Nancy helping us out. There was a couple other times, but so much hatred sent my way that it was really easy for me to look at all of the things I had ever done wrong and believe that I deserved it. And I despite the vast amount of, basically, it's like as if I am trying to turn myself into a person that people won't do that to again. Like, so that there's nothing left to judge. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be this, like, perfect saint of a person, and I can't leave my room. I can't, speak freely. I can't have a political opinion. I can't get angry. You're always gonna upset someone along the way. There's gonna be someone there who does not like how you're coming. And they will find the thing that you did wrong and use it against you. And if you have spent enough time with your pure soul, you're going to be able to withstand it. But until then, you do kind of have to step back from people, because it's just a thing that they do. They hurt each other. We're seeing that play out. We've been seeing that play out on social media, where as soon as someone got kind of big or kind of popular, they found the one thing that they did wrong and used it as the wrecking ball to destroy lives. People have been getting their lives destroyed for having opinions. And so, who gets to live under that set of circumstances? Like, where is the reconciliation? When are we going to be good enough? What are we expecting people to become? Like, no redemption before death. There's no redemption before death. If you did a wrong thing, if you got a dirty life, then you have to serve everyone else whose lives appear less dirty. Maybe they were never faced with the conditions that would even allow a choice that appears dirty on the surface, like staying at a campground. You're supposed to pay, don't pay, because you don't have any fucking money, or you have such little money, and it's your kid's birthday, and you're already freaking homeless. I heard this story one day about, I think somebody took something from Walmart and it became this blown up public post because someone tried to call this person out. I know you stole from Walmart. And so they called them out publicly on Facebook. And people were like, why would you get this person in trouble and ruin their life over a $10, whatever it was? And some people were like, because stealing's stealing. And that's it. If you take anything ever, we are being run right now by perverts and thieves. It's one thing to have perverts and thieves in the world. It's another thing to be run by them. And so in the context of that, it's hard to hold the same amount of, what's the word I'm looking for? Responsibility, intention, motivation. Because we place that mark on a person's soul. We don't place the mark on their life or the conditions and then help to change the conditions so they don't do it again. We say, oh, that was your soul acting out. We see it. And therefore, you get to stay in jail. Poverty jail. Stay in poverty jail until your soul is pure. And what you can do in poverty jail is fast. You fast and you pray until society decides that they're not going to whip you when you come out. So, yeah, I think that's where the loneliness for me comes from, is trying to resolve the completely disparate states of being a pure soul and seeing all of these signs and symbols and miracles and manifestations of God, conversations and intense transcendent bliss, unbelievable moments with God, proof after proof. Well, God must love me because look what happened. Juxtaposed a dirty life where people fucking hate you and judge you, and the sense of it is so huge. And so you get scared to come out as a person of God in the context we're living in. And I believe God does kind of keep you out of it also until you believe it. And I might believe it enough to talk to Him, to talk to it, to talk to you. But I don't know that I believe it enough to try again, to produce something when any of my past sins can be brought out to light, to say I am not allowed to play in the money game. And I lived a life of minimalist who survives on alms. That's how I survive. People give a shit about me and keep me alive. Because I don't believe that if my life was judged that I wouldn't be stoned. The Mary Magdalene, and so what do? You wait for Jesus. Well, how do you stop them people from wanting to stone you? Even though it's been said before, people didn't learn. So I think God takes you out, sets you aside, because you still have something useful to him, even if you no longer have something useful to the world. Some people can walk in both, one foot in both, and make offerings to the world to keep them at peace. And once they've already kind of set their sights on rejecting you for whatever it is you've done, the only refuge is God, and Cain and Abel is such a good investigative summary, I think, of some of these forces of it just isn't so cut and dry. It isn't so cut and dry as the act of giving offerings to God. There's something else, like the world tries to crush you, and it tends to be where grace likes to show up and remind everyone who's boss, I guess. And it's hard to be the person kind of in that play and not become egotistical, and also not become flagellating. I wonder if anything I've just said makes any bit of sense. So, yeah, until next time.